Okay. Where? Okay, there you go. There you go. Got it. I can definitely see you. There, that's better.
Okay, cool.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good, man. I just got home. Had trouble with the Wi-Fi, so that's why I'm in the little storage closet. But we're good. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah. So welcome back, everybody, to our fifth episode. Areli is finally back. Like I told you all the last two episodes, um, it's an open door policy. She's a single mom. She's working. She's going to school. All these different things. So, um, we're back. And so today, what I wanted to do is I wanted to honor Aureli's comeback and just kind of have her share where she's been, why she's been gone, just give us an update on her life. And so I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, hi guys. Well, thank you for having me back on, and thank you for being so understanding. So basically, in the past couple of weeks, my life went from being excited to start on this new journey with school and work to 100 miles per hour. I can't stop, and I have to make all the stop signs completely. So I started school this. My second week was this Saturday. And then I have picked up a couple more shifts at work. So it's work, home, homework, mom. The most important thing is that mom, we don't clock out, guys. We don't
Yeah.
clock out. We have to stay in mom mode for 24/7. So coming home from work, being mom, having to do homework, everything has been really a little bit overwhelming, but in a good way. Also, sometimes, I told you, Okari, I've been in the verge of kind of crying a few times in the past 2 weeks, but I feel like it's just everything. I have to get the groove of it and kind of find my rhythm
Yeah.
in all of this.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think we had talked about this before. Like once it starts, it's gonna go. And it
Yeah.
did.
It went 100 miles per hour.
It absolutely did.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think I haven't talked about it too much, but I feel like, I started something part-time aside from my astrology and my private practice. I'm doing something part-time. And just like you, it feels like it's kind of been nonstop, right? Like you can't turn off being a mom. You're in charge of everything that's going on with that little person's life. Plus, you have to be in charge of what's going on at work. Plus, you have to be in charge of your educational stuff, getting yourself from A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so it's like this constant, like you're on like on a speed train and there's no
Yeah.
brakes and it's really difficult. Because like you're saying, like it can feel so overwhelming because there's no time to stop. And I think especially in your situation, Aurelie, like you're a single mom. So aside from all of this, you have to co-parent and you have to always be talking to her dad about A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and making sure that that relationship is settled and that your daughter is like doing this and that and she's okay. And so it's so much work. And I think unless you've experienced a little bit of that, you don't fully understand. Like there's people who are busy, right? They're doing a bunch of projects for themselves, but that's for themselves. And yeah, they have
Right.
contracts and budgets for other people. But when you become a mom, it's like, am I doing what's best for my child? There's always that lens of like, what am I doing this for? And am I doing the best? And if I'm not, you're constantly criticizing yourself and being like, how can I be better? But it's a lot of work. And I
Absolutely.
think just being honest about the emotional toll that takes, especially in the very beginning, where you're like, holy crap, there's no breaks.
Absolutely none.
That's that's
And
tough.
you're
And
going
so,
downhill.
and then you're going uphill. So
Yes.
you better make sure that that momentum stays at 100. But then you also have to be like, okay, at what point can I slow down a little bit because I can't sustain this forever?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I
So
think it's when you, I don't know, I think it's finding the groove of things because I don't know, I twice I've
I was
spoken
gonna
to my
ask.
mom and I asked,
Yeah.
yes. And those are the times where I kind of almost got into tears because I would tell her, I was like, Mom, how did you do it
Tell us
with two
about
whole
how you're
kids?
managing your mental health. That's the real important part.
I'm not. I,
Every day is a potential cry fest, and then you wipe it off. No, it's weird because I feel you. I get it, like to an
yes.
extent.
Yeah, no, and it's, well, the reason why I'm saying I'm not is because I'm really not. I haven't had the time to sit
Y'all.
with my thoughts.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys, like, this is so bad. I haven't
yeah,
had the time to sit with my thoughts. Every day it's like, you know,
yeah,
and then 5 minutes I do kind of complain or, break down maybe. And then I have to keep going. I have to.
yes.
And that's why I want to find my groove. I want to find, like, I kind of want to get settled in my new schedule so that I can find the time, because before I was absolutely taking care of my mental,
Yeah,
and because that's very important to me.
yeah.
And so these past 2 weeks, it feels like I don't even have time. I've missed a couple of meals because I'm like, oh, oh, I didn't have
What time
lunch,
is
or
it?
oh,
Yeah,
oh wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That's definitely a lot, and I think it really shows the reality of sometimes when we are starting something new, and it's just that it's new, and you're like, I don't know where I begin and others, and because it's just this flow, right? And so I think that's really honest. You're saying, my mental health is really important, and right now it's not the time to slow down yet to like process. This is the time to ramp up, right? This is the time where I'm going, the keys are in the engine and I started it and it's time to go, right? We were both in cross country
right,
and track. And it's like when you're on the starting line, it's like that anticipation of like, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. And then when that gun goes off, you don't have time to be like, how am I
boom,
going to do it? You got to go. Got to go till it ends.
right,
And I think that's kind of the stage of life where we kind of all are at. For you, it like literally it's a race. Like you're running the 100-yard dash, you know, and you're going as fast as
yes,
you can. And so you don't stop to think about the situation until you're done. And so I think for you, that being done part is being like, it's been a few months and now I have the hang of it. And now I can learn to compartmentalize better and be like, okay, this is me as a mommy time. This is my daughter time. This is my work time. And this time in between me going from work to home is the, oh, how do I feel about me time? How do I feel
right.
about the situation time? Do I need to cry? Maybe. Or like finding time to talk to your mom and be like, Mom, because she didn't have just two kids. She had four ass kids
Yes.
and probably two
Four
jobs.
badass kids too.
Two
Yes.
bad four badass kids trying to
Yes,
find their
because,
own.
well,
Yeah.
when she did have 3 jobs, I think it was only me and Merlin, because my
Your
two older
Marlene is your
siblings had
older
already moved
sister,
out.
your
Yeah,
sister. Yeah.
Merlin's my little sister.
Yes.
They had already moved out, but she did have 2 young kids, well, a teen and an elementary one, and she
Yes.
had 3 jobs. And I never really saw my mom like freak out.
You're like, wait a
And I
minute.
asked her, I was like, how did you do it? Yeah, and it's so funny because I asked her, like, how did you do it? Like, I never saw you free. You would come home, all right, dinner, okay, da, da, and it's kind of cool because she did tell me, she said, you know what? I would cry in my car. I would cry on my way home. I would cry in the parking lot before work, and then I would just keep going. And I was like, oh,
No, and I want to clarify why you're saying I think it's kind of cool because most people are like that's not cool. But I think what she's showing you is she's like like I just said, you have to carve the time for yourself to be like this is a lot, but I know I can't stop because in your mom's situation, in your situation, you're both single moms. And it's
yep,
like, you can stop and cry, but then you also have to understand that's going to affect my livelihood and it's going to affect my daughter if I do it in front of her. I need to find a way to do it for myself um, in a manner where I feel better and it impacts my daughter the least as possible.
right,
And so that's
right.
what your mom did.
And it also showed like, yeah, and it also showed me that she is a human being like I am, and she did feel like I feel now,
Yeah,
because this
overwhelmed.
whole time I was like, dude, she just said it out. She's badass. But now it's like, no, like I cry too, but I just did it behind,
Secretly.
closed doors.
That's like
Yeah, so
every
it felt
mom
really good
ever.
to know that. Yes. And it felt really good to know that she does know how I feel, and she has been there, and I think she has more of an understanding for me. And
You
she's
know,
actually stepped up a lot as well these past 2 weeks.
it's interesting because I know what you're saying about your mom because I had these similar feelings when I became a mom. When I became a mom, I feel like I totally understood my mom. And before then,
Yes.
like, you criticize, you're like, whatever. But then when you become a mom and you kind of start understanding the enormity of the role of fucking becoming a mother, a parent, whatever, plus still being true to yourself, plus making like it's such a large role that when you become a mom, you can better understand your mom's struggles, her choices, even if they're not the ones that you would take now, you have more compassion and empathy for your own mother, your own parents as a parent, because you're like,
Right.
fuck, I kind of understand. And in that term, too, you probably being vulnerable with her allows her to then be like, dude, I know what Areli's going through. I've been there. And then she's stepping it up and
Right.
she's like, I want to help her. I don't want to make her feel alone because I was.
Right. Exactly. And so I think that's what's going to help me find my groove, because she has seen how overwhelmed I have been getting. So she'll take my daughter, she'll say, "Oh, we'll go for a walk. I'll take her for a walk, this and that." And so that's what's been helping a lot. But it's only week 2. I'm hoping I'm gonna give myself a month, hopefully, to just find my groove. I've also I have a coworker who, she was really sweet to me too, because she was telling me, "You'll be okay. You'll find your groove. We all go through that. Like, trust
Yeah.
me." You know. So she made me feel a little bit better about like the whole situation, and then because she noticed I was going through something. She said, "I didn't know, because I've been, even at work, I'm like, what, huh?" And so,
A little
one of
scattered.
my residents, yeah, one of my residents asked me a question, and I spoke to her in Spanish. This is how out of it I was. I was like, "Mande," and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, no, you don't know Spanish." So she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, No, no, not,
Yeah,
I'm
actually,
not."
I'm not.
No.
I'm barely here. Yeah.
Right? I barely slept.
Honestly,
I'm barely
how
here. I'm
did I get
hungry.
here? Honestly, is this my life? Is this what I'm doing? Honestly, no. I'm losing my marbles.
I'm,
Yeah, dude.
I'm about to lose it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I'm still so excited though. I'm still so excited because this is what I was waiting for. Now we're going. Now is the time to really focus before. before I know it, I'm certified, and we're
Yep.
gonna get started with the next chapter.
Yeah. I think the really nice thing about this situation is you have women around you who understand you. And I think, like, that saying, like, it takes a village to raise a child. I think, yes, that's true. And also, that saying to me is it takes a village for a mom to feel supported because you need a village.
Mhm.
What does that mean? It
You do.
means you need other women, other people, other humans who can be compassionate and be like, girl, I've been there too, like, come with me, hang out with me. Like, inadvertently they kind of become your friend slash mentor because then they tell you about their story and then you can learn from them. And I think
Right.
that's the really beautiful part about sometimes people will show up in our lives that need to be in our lives who remind us that we aren't alone and that this is just a phase. It's a transitional phase. Nothing is ever permanent. Even the best times, those are not permanent. They're going to
Mhm.
go away. And so are hard times. And so are ambiguous times where you're trying to figure it out. But I think too, you're saying, this is what I was waiting for though, because I knew that once this started, there, I can only figure it out from here. And it's
Right.
tough. And I'm losing my crap and I'm sad and I'm crying. But also with that, you learn such deep, important life lessons of community, of who's there for you, of what you really want to do and who you are. And then knowing what kind of mom you are and where your strengths and weaknesses lie. Because
Right.
then your mom saying, I'll take her for a walk, like that's so nice. It's so nice to be like, "Oh, thanks, mom." And it's nice that then you have support, like your family support that's like, I will help you. I get it. It takes nothing from
Right.
me to go and, go to the store with your daughter and take her with me and have it be an adventure.
Right. Right. And I think that's what's gonna pretty much help me get into the groove of things.
Yep,
The fact that I do have a lot of support, because
you do.
mind
And
you,
that's
my
so
mom did it with
beautiful.
no support.
Yeah. And 4 kids. I'm going to open up this window,
Right.
keep talking. But
And four
yeah,
kids.
yeah, that's a huge deal.
So, and I'm still excited, guys. I there's no regrets here. I'm still very excited. I'm still kind of, it is, but I didn't think it was going to be this insane. I knew it was
Yeah.
going to be a little bit harder, but I didn't think it was going to be,
Yeah.
losing my shit sometimes harder, and
Yeah.
not in a bad way, just kind of like, holy crap, dude.
Just getting used
Um,
to the momentum. Sorry, it's like, did that make
mm-hmm,
it worse? Yeah, the momentum is hard, especially because before it was like, well, I take care of my daughter. Like I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm taking care of her. And that's a very different, like being a stay-at-home mom is like nonstop because you're always thinking of another person. But then the momentum changes of again, you have to like split yourself into 3 or 4 different people.
right.
Mom, caregiver, daughter, student, like those are different things that you constantly have to shift back and forth from. But being a mom is never ending. Because if you get a call,
No,
your daughter's sick and you're at work, guess what? That
you have to
takes,
go.
yeah. And that's the
Yeah.
tough part. So you're doing your best. You're talking to your mom. She's helping you. You have a friend at work, totally understands, is compassionate and empathetic towards you. And you cry every now and then. But you also started school. So you're going back to school to get certified as a what again?
As a nail technician. Um, but also, in going to this is why we chose, it's a little bit more expensive, but this is why we chose the school, because this gets my foot in to getting certified as a lash tech, which is what I want to do next. And it gets me
Mm,
in the door with whatever program I want to do next. And the next thing is lash tech. Also, um I got offered if I wanted to a course on small tattooing, and apparently that's like the new thing where you don't have to get licensed as a tattoo artist
Mm.
because you're technically not a tattoo artist. It's cosmetics. So
Like the
it,
eyebrows or the like
no,
that?
like actual small tattoos. Like I think a
Oh,
quarter size. If you go bigger than about a quarter,
okay.
then you have to get licensed as a tattoo artist. But smaller, you can do it cosmetically, like aesthetically.
Oh, so they
Yeah, and I
offered
didn't
you
know
that.
that.
I didn't either. So they
Yeah, it's like a
offered you that
tiny tattoo
course?
course. hmm This is
Oh,
through a different school though. It's in Bellflower.
oh, okay.
And so they certify you as a tiny tattoo artist. But it's through aesthetics. And I was like, that is kind of that's new. I never knew you could do that.
Yeah,
I
me
thought,
neither.
but I get, and it was interesting. It was interesting. I was like, I wouldn't mind doing that because,
Yeah,
especially with a young crowd, their most of their first tattoos are little, and then they
yeah,
see if they like it or not. So why
yeah,
not?
yeah. You know, I think one of the things we've talked about a lot is I know you want to get into beauty. I know that that's kind of like, like it's like your thing. Like you like lashes, you like nails. You've always been into like aesthetic things. And so I'm glad that you're going to school for that because I really feel like, the job that you have right now, it pays your bills. But in the
Yeah.
future, you can definitely pivot onto that and kind of do that full time. And I think you getting certified right now is really great because you're learning about all of these different things that like, I mean, I'm not in the aesthetic business, you are, but you're going to be able to like be certified in all these different things and then hone in on what you really love doing. And so
Right.
I think that's amazing, especially because like that job is more creative too versus, what's what you're currently doing now, which pays the bills.
Right. And you also kind of have to mute or tune out the negativity because I'll tell people my plan or what I aspire to
Oh
do.
yeah.
Sometimes that's a lot. Are you sure? That's a little. But it's kind of like, I mean, 2023 is going to be hard, but it's a different mindset. It's no longer hopefully I can. It's when I will. When it happens.
Wow.
It's going to happen because I was telling my mom, I was like, I 2023, I'm putting on my entrepreneur hat and I'm going after all these things that I have ideas. So I'm putting those ideas into work. And
Into
it's not
action.
if it works out, it's when it works out. Because obviously,
Ooh.
you're right? You
Yeah.
spend money on going to school and it's your fault if you don't do anything with it.
Right.
You kind of have
Yeah.
to take responsibility. So it's going to be hard, but it's we're going to keep going and we're going to do it and it's going to
Yeah.
work out.
And I think the other thing that you're touching upon is like when you're first starting out, that's what it is. You're figuring out what you want to do, and you're gonna like, you have to, it's like the funnel is like this, right? Whenever you hone in on something, you start big and then slowly but surely you come into exactly what you want to do. And right now, that's what you're doing. You're saying, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to, until you kind of land into your field. And is it a lot? I guess, but also like, how do you get anything done? By doing a little bit like one by one?
Right.
Usually not. Usually it's like, okay, well, I have to go at this full force and see what works for me. And I think you have always kind of been an entrepreneur in terms of like, you always want to do like little things on the side. And it's like, but why not? Why not
Right.
learn how to make money for yourself and not be attached just to a job? Right? So if you
Exactly.
can have a job and then you can make money on the side doing your own personal thing, why not? And how come you can't? Especially if you have the support of your family and you know your daughter's going to be taken care of.
Right.
And And then when you say, these are my office hours, this is when I'm working, this is when I'm doing my beauty stuff, but this is my mom time. Nobody
Right.
will take that away from me, and I'm focused on my daughter. Like, then no one can tell you shit.
Exactly. And is the goal here is to be financially free to the point where I'm
Girl.
going to be signing my own checks and stuff. And honestly, I want to kind of give a shout out to your husband because all of
Oh,
these things that he posts about, like, it's not about
oh,
can you do it, you will do it. And I'm like, yeah, I will do it, because
yeah. My
I feel
husband is an
like,
entrepreneur, like very
yes,
much. Yeah.
and he's very encouraging
Oh,
with what he
yeah.
posts, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like you have to kind of have that mindset. I know some people view it as like, well, that's an arrogant mindset because what if you don't make it? No, because you will. If you want to
What
make
if
it,
you're
you
not
will make
alive tomorrow
it. Right.
and you were doing something today you didn't necessarily love?
Exactly. And so I feel like, yeah.
You know what's really, I can really appreciate that you're shouting out my husband because he's an entrepreneur. And the thing about being an entrepreneur is like, you're going to have to try things all the time. The first thing usually rarely sticks. It's like you got to try different avenues, right? And when you become an entrepreneur or a business owner, you have to completely believe in yourself, because then, like you're saying, who will? People are always going to
It's,
naysay you, tell you that's so much, this, that, the other. I mean, like, I do astrology and I do private practice too. And that's not always easy. You have to be marketing yourself all the time. But it's like when you do make that money for yourself and then you get a clientele and you have returning customers that are happy and you have a relationship with them, then they tell other people. Is that hard work? Yeah. But so is living a life that you're not completely happy with. If not,
exactly.
that's, yes, it's safe, but it's more emotionally detrimental. And it's like,
Right.
I'm glad that you're saying, like, it's encouraging because, look, my husband and I, I'm glad you're bringing this up. We've had to restart so many fucking times. And sometimes it's been a hit and other times it hasn't. And guess what? We keep going.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like you guys always land on your feet. And that's what it's like. Cause it's not going to be, I'm not saying it's not arrogance where it's like it's gonna happen and I'm gonna be fucking rich and I'm never gonna worry. No, I'm not saying it in that aspect. I'm saying I know it's gonna be hard and I know it's gonna be some
Having
hardships, but I'm
confidence
not
in
gonna stop.
yourself is
Yes.
self-love. I'm saying it right now. Being self-deprecating, I'm saying that right now. Being self-deprecating and talking yourself out of things all the time, it's self-deprecation, you know?
Yes.
Self-love is saying I'm confident enough in myself and in my willpower to say, I am just going to take action. I'm going to get the right schooling and the right mindset for myself, that no matter what, I just continue forward on this mission for me. Will it take me a
Right.
year? Will it take me 5 years? It doesn't matter. You're still doing it.
Right. And we're not gonna stop no matter what. This is what I want to do, and this is what we're going to do.
Exactly.
And
And the we is you, me, and everybody else that's on our team.
yes, me and my baby.
Yeah. And then she gets to watch you and she's going to ask you, like,
Yeah.
what do you do? Oh, I have my business on the, like, what's so funny about this? Your mom is self-employed and
Yes,
she's
she
a
has her
businesswoman. Dude, I remember
my
one time.
stepdad
Oh yeah,
as
he has
well.
his own business. And it's funny because I feel like entrepreneurship, like especially when you're like an immigrant, it's kind of normal because it's
Yes.
like you can't come here and just kind of get a job sometimes because of legal matters. So it's like you have to learn how to hustle. And when you see that growing up, you're like, oh, well, that's kind of what you
Right.
do,
Mind
right?
you, I have one up on them, because my mom and Rudy have started with no English
Right. Which, by the
in a
way, her
country.
stepdad makes great furniture. He makes anything and everything.
He does.
And somehow he
He just
communicates.
made a closet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they did it with the
You can
language
too.
barrier, I mean, yeah.
I think
And that's
that's
what my
the.
mom says. Like,
Go ahead.
she goes, "Bro, you speak fluently in English and Spanish. How are you not gonna have one up on me?"
Yeah.
Like,
I honestly
she's
feel
actually
like,
told me it would be an insult to me if you didn't really try to do more.
yeah.
But
I really do feel like that's a great mindset because then, like, when you know you can make money on your own and and you hustle and you just do it, you can always duplicate that over and over and over again. Will the amount change perhaps? Yes. But again, you have the capability, the know how to know, okay, well, now I need more clients. This is what I do to get more clients. And so I really am proud of you, Areli, for just like doing what you need to now and then just like kicking ass. It's funny because as you're mentioning to me like about your job and your business, I wanted to tell you astrologically, because that's what I do. Jupiter, the most benefic planet in the solar system, is actually transitioning over your 10th house, your midhaven of career. So it makes sense to me,
oh,
right? Why right now you're getting a job, you're working, and you're getting yourself out there. You're doing this podcast, you're making sure that you have the right certification to go and be in the beauty industry. I really do think like just know that that's what you want to do and just keep doing that on the side. Whenever you don't have a shift at your other job, be booking appointments, girl. And
yes,
that's how your client list will grow.
yep, that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah. And so
That's
it's
that's the
perfect
plan. And
timing.
yes, I'm glad you said that, because now I'm even more driven.
Yeah. By the way, why don't we do that? Why don't we do transits on here? Like, oh, let's
Yeah,
look at our
I'm down.
chart.
We
Like,
can do
and
it.
then we can do all of that. Would you want to do that? I don't know if today you
Yes,
want to do it, but like definitely next week, I can look at your chart. And then I can, if you're comfortable sharing it,
I'm
and
comfortable.
and then I can block out like time date of when you were born because like people are weird. But we can look at charts and then we can look at transits and see like what's going to be challenging versus what you're going to have like an easier time with. Do you want to do that next week?
I do. Yes, that's gonna be
Yay.
fun.
Okay, cool. Because I always like to study someone's chart before I read it. Like I always do that. Um, Yay. Okay, we'll do that next week. Because
Okay, sounds
I really do feel like this is the time for you to be like, if this is what I want to do, I need people to be out there and see me and be posting on your business page about your
yes.
lashes, on yourself, on other people. I don't care. Exposure, exposure, exposure.
Right, right. I think, and I need to
Mhm.
get better at that. But
Yeah. But
I
you're
will definitely
learning.
start doing that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm. Baby steps, y'all.
Yeah.
But
Because
yeah,
that's exciting. It's overwhelming and it's really difficult, but it's so exciting to know that you're fearless right now. You're saying, you
yeah,
know what? I have my family's support and backup, and I have nothing to lose other than the cloak of fear that I've had with me about X, Y, or Z,
right,
or
right.
feeling
And
like I can't
it's
leave.
gonna work out.
It is. No matter what, it will work out. Your daughter is taken care of. She's always going to be taken care of. You got her, you know, and hopefully, like your former partner is understanding and aware and he can see like the bigger picture as well and he trusts you enough to know where when I'm working this is where my daughter's at and then at some point she'll start her little school or her little daycare and then that'll be a thing.
Right. And speaking of that, yes, he's actually been very understanding, and it's actually kind of switched roles a little, where now
Oh.
he is working with me. He'll
Oh.
take her an extra couple hours when she goes to her therapy, or he'll take her an extra day. Like, he's gonna take her on Saturday because I picked up a shift and I go to school. So, and I
Oh.
didn't want my mom to have her all day and then all evening. So
Yeah.
I asked him, and he was like, of course, of course. So
Oh, that's cool.
I'm telling you,
There's been a
not
shift.
all co-parenting situations are like horrid. Just because things ended in a crazy way doesn't mean it's going to stay like that.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm actually blessed to say that in that aspect, it's fucking like, it's going pretty well, dude. Like,
That's
we're
amazing.
co-parenting fucking great.
Kudos to him. Next time you see him, tell him I said,
Right.
fucking great job, X.
Right. I will.
No,
Actually today.
seriously. Yeah, because uh, my husband and I were literally just having this conversation where ultimately you guys came together and to have her. And
Right.
she's the light of both of your lives. And if you guys can work together, and I mean, things are not always going to be like perfect or great, or it's not like you guys aren't going to fuck up and, that's life. But it's like, if she can see that you two are just doing your best, you're going to give her such a solid foundation. You
Right.
really are. And I'm really proud of you for so many levels. And then also him for just like understanding the power of working with his daughter's mother and being like, of course, I want to
Right.
spend more time with her. Like, I want to take her instead of having someone else watch her. Like, I can totally do it. Like, he's a standout dad.
He is. And
Kudos to
that's one.
him.
Right.
I'll give
That's
him a
one
high
thing
five.
I'll give
You
him too.
chose
That's one
right.
thing I can't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't front. That's one
Yeah.
thing I can't front. Because it's the typical, oh, my baby daddy's like worth shit and they don't do
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would
Not
be
him.
it would be a very dick move of me if I put myself in
Pretended
that
like,
position.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like that. It's he totally understands that I go to school. He's, told me, I know you're starting school. I'm willing to take baby more if you'd
That's
like, blah,
so
blah, blah.
cool.
So it's fucking great, dude. And I'm actually
Honestly,
surprised because we're pretty fucking petty, me and him.
but you know what? I think what I hear from both of you is you can be petty with like, whatever, but not when it comes to your
Yeah.
daughter. Yeah. And
No,
that
and
is
and that's where we
fucking,
have grown a lot, Katie. Yes.
yeah.
That's
I'm
amazing
really
because we're
proud of
like, dude,
him.
like, me
Yeah.
too. Man, forever, because we actually came together and said, let's grow up when it comes to Mena, yeah? And we're like, yeah, I think we should. Because,
Yeah.
we're still, it's like you said, it's not always
Yeah.
great. We
I
do
mean, you're
kind of
not together. You're going to get on each
sometimes.
other's nerves.
Right. But when it comes to Mena, it's always, how do we
You guys are
fix
on
it?
the
What do
same
we do?
page. Yeah.
Right.
Dude, that's honestly, that's freaking amazing. I'm so happy about that, honestly. Like that. And I feel like for anybody who watches, like that should give you hope. Just because I think too, it's because like you guys are not stuck on what the other did to one another. I think that's when you can become really nasty and then it spills out to your children where it's like
Right.
because sometimes our children are an extension of ourselves and if like let's say dad is mad at mom they'll take it out on the kid because like it's like this weird triangle thing that we human beings fucking do but if you're like okay you did your shit whatever but you're still her dad and
Yeah.
she's still always going to love you and she like I want that because even though your relationship with your dad wasn't perfect and your mom and dad were whatever it's like it would have been nice to know that they at least love us enough to not like traumatize us all over again. Like a
Right.
separation is
Exactly.
tough enough and your daughter's
Yeah.
so young still that like this is just going to be like, oh, well, this is just kind of how it was. But, my parents like each other.
Right. And it's also like it's my whole village as well. Like my mom, even with, different situations, she's always, the first thing she's always said is, what we're not going to do is badmouth the other parent to these kids, because at the end of the day, this is still their parent.
I'm glad she learned.
And right. And
Yeah.
for someone who didn't do that at all, that's growth. That's great.
That is growth, though. I think that's the thing about life. It's like you have to fuck some shit up and then
Yes. She was like,
grow and be like, I could have done this. And yeah, I mean, that's part of life.
yeah. She's
She's
like, look,
like,
I know I fucked you guys up, but let's not fuck up the grandkids.
the kids, they don't, yeah, like, she's like, I want to die and know that they're okay. You know, at least they're okay. Y'all are a lost cause. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't take it back with you guys, but if I can
But
fix it
my
with the
grandkids,
kids,
I love them. It's funny how,
right?
like, our parents with like our grandkids can have perspective.
Yes.
Um, and that might hurt us because like, why didn't you do that with us or whatever? But it's like because they already know they fucked you up. I mean, can they say sorry and like whatever? Like, yeah, sure, but I think they're just like, I can do it different this time.
Right.
No. So, damn, Areli, thank you so much for sharing. You sharing your story about that too inspires me. And I mean, honestly, like, I just like you for who you are and all the shit that you do. So, I'm so glad that you're back. Next week, Tuesday, 11. Can we keep that? Or
Yes.
9 for
Yes.
you, 11 for me, because I'm
Yes.
in Texas, she's in California. Okay, so next week, Tuesday at 9 a.m. PST, 11 a.m. CST, we'll continue our lives. And next week, we'll do your natal chart and we'll do the transits and I can read it on here. Is that cool?
Yes. And I'm
Woo!
excited. Yes.
And then
Woo.
one day when I see you again, you can do my nails and my lashes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. Okay,
But
cool.
yes, thank
So
you so
everybody,
much.
thank you for joining in. Watch the replay and we'll see you.